Hello there, and welcome to my channel, UnrealAcademy. This video is a continuation of the previous video in which I showed you how to make a Raytrace toggle widget that helps you to turn Raytrace on and off via a button, how to increase FPS by deciding where to disable specific Raytrace settings in areas which have no visual impacts of Raytracing, as well as how to fix hard shadows when you use normal lights in conjunction with Raytrace lights. In today's video, I'm going to tell you how to set up trigger events throughout the level to enable and disable specific ray tracing settings, as well as how to set up level streaming, which is basically used to load and unload different parts of the map. First, let us set up triggers near the door which will trigger a console command as soon as player begins overlapping the trigger. To create these triggers, we are going to create a blueprint. Right-click and create a new blueprint class of class actor. Let's name it Raytrace Enabler. Open it up and add component box collision. Let's just keep its name to box. Make its size whatever you want it to be. So in my case, I'm going to scale it in accordance to the door. You do not necessarily have to do it inside the blueprint. You can do it manually here as well, but it gets tiring to do it for every instance. And hit compile. Now select this box collision and scroll down to the bottom and click on the plus icon of on component begin overlap and go to the event graph. Drag out this execution node and search for cast to third person character. If you're using first person character, you're going to cast to first person character and connect the other actor pin to the object pin of cast to third person character. What this does is basically it ensures that this event only triggers when the player is overlapping, and it does not trigger if some other component such as the door or the walls or the floor is overlapping the trigger box. So drag out the execution pin of the cast to third person character and search for execute console command and select this command pin and drag it out and promote it to variable, and let's name the variable console command and hit compile. And let's make the variable public by selecting this eye icon next to the console command and hit compile. Basically what this does is it allows us to change the value of console command or execute a different console command for each different blueprint class that is placed in the level. Since every Raytrace console command starts with r.raytracing, we're going to set the default value to be r.raytracing dot. And now you won't have to type r.raytracing dot for every time you want to enable or disable specific Raytrace setting. Hit compile. Now drag out the execution pin of execute console command and search for print string. And in the print string, just change in string to on. So as soon as the console command executes, you'll know that it has executed. Wait, let's just change the value to has executed, and hit compile. Now let's add it to our level. In my case, since it's already added, I'm just going to have to type in the console command that I want to enable. And since we had previously decided that we want to enable Raytrace Ambient Occlusion in the kitchen, therefore I'm going to change the value of this variable to r.raytracing.ambient occlusion space 1 and just hit save all, save selected. And now what this will do, as soon as the player overlaps this trigger box or blueprint, it will execute the console command to enable Raytraced Ambient Occlusion. Let's test it out. Play. You can see has executed, has just gotten printed. Let me just move this to the other side so that you know that it actually made a difference. Let's hit play. Right now, this is how the kitchen looks like. And you can see that it just got enabled. So this is how you're going to use a blueprint to enable and disable Raytrace settings throughout your level. Now I'm going to implement it everywhere throughout my map. So in my case, I'm going to enable it on one side, which is going to be this side, because I want the setting to be enabled as soon as the player opens the door, so that they see no visible difference when they open this door. So I'm going to just move this here, and this part will enable Raytrace Ambient Occlusion, and Control C, Control V. Let's rotate it 90 degrees, move it near the other door, which is this door. Since we want to enable Raytrace Shadows in the dining room, therefore we will just change this command to r.raytracing shadows space 1 and hit Control C, and Control V and just move it right there. And in this part of the map, what we want to do is disable ambient occlusion, which we enabled in the kitchen. So just change this shadows, replace the shadows with ambient occlusion space 0. Do the same, copy, paste, move it near the door of the toilet. And since we want to enable Raytrace Reflections in the toilet, we're just going to change the ambient occlusion to Reflections space 1 and hit save all to save everything. Control C, Control V, move it there. And since we enabled Raytrace Shadows in the dining room, we're just going to disable Raytrace Shadows space 0 to disable the Raytrace Shadows and hit save all. Hit play, reset, and make the screen bigger. And now let's see if there's any difference. You can see the Raytrace Ambient Occlusion just got enabled. If I go to the dining room, you'll see that Raytrace Shadows just got enabled. And if I go to the bathroom, Raytrace Reflections just got enabled. The reason I'm not showing up in this mirror is because I have set my flare mesh to be invisible in Reflections as well as generally hidden in game. Now let's move on to the next part of optimization, which is to set up level streaming triggers throughout our map. To do that, simply select the different parts of your level which you want, select different parts of your level which are going to have different ray trace settings enabled for them. For example, this right here, wait, let me just reset. For example, this kitchen here is going to have only Raytrace Ambient Occlusion enabled, while this dining room is going to have only Raytrace Shadows enabled, and this toilet is going to have only Raytrace Reflections enabled. So I'm going to select everything in this area, in the kitchen. I have separated it according to the table, and select all descendants. Now, do not select the blueprint door because it's going to be common throughout the different levels. So unselect the blueprint door here and here, and just go to Window, Levels, and select this levels and create new with selected actors. Save it to your maps folder, and I'll name it Kitchen, and hit save, and it just saved. Okay, it crashed. Fucking hell. Okay, so that for some reason crashed Unreal Engine 4. So I'm going to redo the steps. Select. So it just created a new map. Let's rename it. Let me just move it to the maps folder. So okay, I renamed it to kitchen. I'm going to do this for every other area which has different ray trace settings, which is in my case this area here, which is the dining room. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way and have created different parts of the main level, let's just make the persistent level the current level by right-clicking and selecting Make Current. Right-click the starting room or the room which you're going to be using to spawn the player inside, and select the Change Streaming method to always load it. So what this will do is this part of the map will always be loaded without the use of blueprints. Well, these three levels will have to be loaded using blueprints. So now if I hit play, as you can see, there's no level there. Okay, so now what we are going to want to do is go back and just copy this Raytrace enabler and paste it here and rename it to level streaming. Hit enter and open it up, and the core functionality will be the same. Now since we want to load up a different level, what we're going to do is replace the execute console command to stream level, load stream level, and the level name will be, we'll promote the level name string to a variable and change We can delete the console command variable. New variable, let's rename it to level name, make it public, and should we make visible after load, just check this and hit compile. And now just connect it to the print string level and change the output to level loaded, and just hit compile, level streaming, and close it. Make the persistent level the current level, and close the levels browser tab, and drag and drop the level streaming into your level. And now just change the level name to your persistent level name. In my case, it's going to be the kitchen. So kitchen, and hit save all, save selected, and let's see if this blueprint works. Open it up, the kitchen has loaded. The reason the door is not loaded is because I moved it to the persistent level of the dining room. This is why I recommended that you do not move the common things in between levels. So I'm just going to remove this door from the dining room. So just level and move selection to current level. Since our current level is set to the persistent level, which is the default level, therefore it will move to the persistent level. I'm just going to search for door and do this for every door. Let's see, level, move selection to current level. That's it. And now the door will be visible no matter which level is loaded. You can see it works. If I move over here, no dining room, but the door is still there, as you can see. Now let's set up these triggers everywhere we want level streaming to happen. Now the default level streaming that I'm using is only to load levels. However, to unload levels, what you're going to want to do is just duplicate the level streaming, and instead of level streaming, just rename it to level unloading, and open it up. And in place of load stream level, we're just going to right click anywhere and search for unload stream level. Delete the load stream level. Connect the node cost to third person character node. Connect this, and level. Let's change the output to level unloaded, and hit compile. Now let's see. Hit close this, save all. Now I'm going to unload the starting room as soon as the player overlaps this box. Starting room will get unloaded. I'm going to load the level as soon as load the dining room as soon as the player overlaps this trigger here. Level name dining room, and unload the kitchen as soon as the player is inside the dining room. Level name kitchen, and add a level streaming node here because we want to load the toilet as soon as the player overlaps this box collision. Level name toilet. You have to ensure that you put the level name as is in the levels tab. Let's see, and add a level unloading blueprint. And now if I hit play and enable FPS as well, if I enable FPS, and let's make the screen bigger, hit play, reset everything, Raytrace Ambient Occlusion plus the kitchen loaded. Moving on to the dining room, you can see that the level just got unloaded, and the only thing that is loaded right now is the dining room, and you can see this from here. The only things that are loaded are these things which I've put inside the dining room. The effects are going to be applied everywhere. In the kitchen, the door is loaded, and the only other thing that is loaded right now is anything that is inside this dining room or anything that is in the persistent level. And now if I move on, it will trigger level loaded has executed, and this will unload the dining room and will only load the washroom, the toilet, whatever you'd like to call it. And you can see that Raytrace Reflections have gotten enabled. So that's it, guys. That's all you had to do to enable level streaming as well as set up triggers in your level. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.